Hi everyone, this is Joe from the JodoCast. If you enjoy what we do here at the JodoCast and think it's worth your hard-earned money, you can support the show via Patreon. The show is ad-free and we depend on the support of our generous patrons to pay our bills, upgrade old equipment, and bribe Imperial officials. Just a $2 donation gets you access to exclusive content such as off-topic discussion videos, uncut videos of the show, the ability to watch us record the show live and even chat with us as we do so, access to the patron exclusive channel on our Discord server, access to YouTube videos before anyone else gets to watch them, and more. Consider becoming a Noodle Scooter today. And now back to the show.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the JodoCast, your Star Wars gaming podcast. This is episode 129. My name is Evan Lewis. 30? Excuse me?
Yeah, we did 129
Which one was that?
The AA5 speeder truck.
Oh, okay. Well, I will definitely look forward to listening to episode 129 at a later date, which doesn't have me, Evan Lewis. I am, of course, joined by Leo Andry.
Yes, you are.
And Joe Latovsky.
Uh-huh.
Anyways, I tell you what I won't do. I won't take 10 minutes to thank our patrons who are practically perfect in every way, because Joe has done that at the top of the episode. So I'll simply say, if you want to be praised and lauded for everything you do, go to jodocast.com, because there you can find links to all things JodoCast, because heaven knows you want more of us in your life. One of those happens to be the Patreon, but also the Discord, the Twitter, the everything else, all of our releases. Although, I don't know about our video releases, Joe, or have those been going on the website recently, or just onto YouTube?
I don't know if they've been on the website. Also, I haven't had anything new for a while.
Well, that's fine, neither have I. But you can find most, if not all, of our audio and video and ancient articles on the website. But yes, links to everything, including the Patreon, including the Discord. Go to jodocast.com. We don't tell people to go there enough, because you can comment on each individual release that we put out. Then we can respond to you, and you can tell us how awful we are, and how we must be getting paid by FFG or BioWare to say such nice things. And then somebody else will come along and say, no, clearly, you hate everything.
Nobody's accused us of being paid by BioWare in years.
It's true, and I feel bad. I feel like we're not doing our job if we're not being accused of being on the payroll.
Well, maybe if BioWare would put out that we could actually care about.
That would be nice, wouldn't it? But speaking of things to care about, let's do our 60-second what we've been playing. Leo, gimme. 60 seconds on the clock. Go.
I tried to play Star Wars Galaxies right before we recorded here.
And why would you do that?
Because
Joe made you.
Yeah, no. Joe showed me a thing where some guys are building a new fan server, and it sounds like it. I tried to launch I got it to install just fine. I tried to launch the game, but it didn't launch anything. So I don't know if it's just because it sounds like they're kind of just doing stress testing and stuff, and like the actual server's gonna launch here in May. So it may just be a matter of I may have just been trying to log in when there's no server to log into. But once it does launch, I'm gonna mess around with it, and hopefully maybe we'll talk about that a little bit on the show. Other than that, I've still just been sorting my giant pile of CCG cards. that I got in the mail from one of our fans. So
wow!
Once again, thank you again to him for sending all that to me. I'm still a little bit in shock at having received it all. I'm now down to, after that also, I'm down to only needing five more cards in Jabba's Palace now, and that'll be my second completed set for the...
How many
CCG.
sets are there?
Oof.
A bunch.
A lot. Like,
I mean,
there's a lot.
There's, what, 3, 2, 5, 8, 9...
Honestly, I stopped counting after
there's
special edition.
Yeah, there's 12, and then there's some special sets that are mostly like foil reprints,
Reflections,
things like that. Yeah, like there's the 3 reflections. So if you count those, that would make 15, and then there's also like unlimited white border reprints of a bunch of the sets too. So. But about 15 sets of varying sizes.
All right, Joe, 60 seconds. Wait for it. Go.
I played a game of Star Wars Legion with a real person.
Wow.
In real place.
Wow.
But I got my butt kicked, but whatever. Might be going to a Legion tournament on Saturday. Which is...
Gonna get another Worlds placement, right?
Best case scenario is I could probably win a box of Mandalorian Resistance, but gonna probably make up my list the day before and see what happens. I don't know. There probably also won't be very many people there, but...
I wonder if you'll get like some of the... Because there's a bunch of like real hardcore players in Phoenix, ain't there?
Yeah, I don't expect they'll...
I wonder
I think it's just like a little store-level tournament.
Yeah, but you never know. With like the amount of play available out there, maybe they're just really jonesing for it.
Yeah, that could be.
Yeah, I know everyone around here is just like getting ready because our state mandated mask mandate ended on April 6th, so everyone thinks they can just, go right back to the before times. But thankfully, the individual stores and the individual counties are smarter than those people. So they are not quite just opening the floodgates.
Yeah, the cool thing is, since I'm all vaccinated, the guy I was playing with is now instead of shaking hands before the game starts, we spit in our hands and then shake hands. And then kind of wipe it on each other's faces. Just, because we can. It's the new tradition.
Okay.
Instead of taking a step back, we're taking a step forward as far as gross contact with strangers goes.
It's your right. It's your right to do that.
As long as he's consenting.
And even then, I mean, really, come on. See, I thought you were going to be like, yeah, we're adopting the Star Trek method of greeting. All right.
Oh no! I think it should instead be like the Demolition Man, where they do like the high five, but then they stop. Yep, and they like circle their hands at each other before they actually touch.
I forgot about that. I thought it was going to be something to do with either seashells or Taco Bell.
We could come up with...
I mean, they all go together. They all go together.
We could come up with not like a secret handshake, but like a good luck pre-game handshake that's like exclusive to the Jodo cast. So if you do it and they don't like automatically get it, they're not in the know and they're not cool.
A traditional pre-fight donut.
Isn't that the Spaceballs salute? I thought that's what we were doing now, but maybe not.
So it's not, but in my head when you said that, instead I got like the Three Amigos.
Oh yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Patrons, you feel free to come up with some kind of JodoCast pre-game handshake type routine, and we'll start seeding it into the wild, and it'll spread like a non-deadly virus. Probably not a contagious one either, I would think. It's not
Preferably, this should involve noodle spooning or wampa holes in some way.
May the wampa hole be with you. And also with you. All right, 60 seconds on the clock for me.
I think we went over with Joe.
I mean, we that was OT. That was overtime.
Did I win?
And since well, I mean, since I go by soccer rules, you just go and go and go and go. I suppose that would be baseball also. I'm 20 seconds into my time. Went to Florida again, went to Disney World again, went to Galaxy's Edge again, and did Smuggler's Run and Rise of the Resistance. Got stuck on Rise of the Resistance for 20 minutes in the Star Destroyer docking bay because the ride went down. And it was fine. I mean, there are far worse places to be than an air-conditioned Star Destroyer.
Yeah, it's like the one time I got stuck when I was at Disney was on Splash Mountain.
You got stuck on Splash?
And it was part where you're going through one of like the caves where it's just like the animatronic people singing and stuff like that.
Yes, it's kind of a nightmare.
And then all of a sudden, like just everything stops. All the lights go out, and we're just sitting in pitch black.
They weren't still singing, were they?
No, they weren't still singing, thank God. And you can kind of see some light down at the end of the tunnel. And it's just like, you just hear water rushing past the log you're sitting in, and stuff. But it's almost complete black. And we were just stuck there for at least like 15 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
Like that.
Well, it was not pitch black. We just watched the animatronic stormtroopers, turn their heads and raise their shoulders occasionally. And before you knew it, the dressed up cast members who were supposed to be First Order officers were like, hey, sorry, if you need to use the bathroom, you can just come this way. It was like the nicest abduction ever. They've toned down like the immersion level a lot. Immersion is just like out the window at this point because they just want it to be
that's
fun.
One thing like I kind of heard is like, other than like the Star Wars super fans, like the amount of immersion was actually kind of turning people off a little bit.
Yeah.
Like that they couldn't even just like ask for the bathroom normally and stuff like that or whatever, or just get like a normal answer from people.
I think there was like a...
Yeah.
Yeah. And like when I read about that, I was all like, now I'm kind of sad I didn't get to go there at the very start and like really experience the whole package, but...
Yeah, there's even signs now for Rise of the Resistance. Like, signs to direct you, like, down the road, around the corner, not just, like, the secret Resistance base. Hurry this way. It's like, Rise of the Resistance this way.
Yeah. I mean, if you're, like, that worried about it,
it's fine.
If you go to the bathroom and look in the mirror, you're going to notice that you're not wearing like in-universe clothing and break your own immersion.
I feel like the immersion thing would only have really worked like at the very beginning when they're letting only like limited crowds in and stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas like when you go there in a normal time and there's just like all kinds of people walking around with like Mickey Mouse ears and you're being jostled by all these crowds, it's not going to feel that. So
it should have been its own separate park, separate from the rest of the park, like in a different state, and more like a Westworld kind of.
Like Minnesota.
Yeah.
It's like
Westworld, where
Westworld,
they
Minnesota.
you get a room and they give you a costume to wear, And, if you talk to the host and be like, can I look at my cell phone? Is this what I'm talking? It's like, doesn't look like anything to me. They're like, what's a cell phone?
Well, I mean, that's kind of sort of how the hotel that still isn't quite finished is going to
So
be.
get there when it opens, because after a few months they'll be like, okay, we're gonna have to tone it down a bit. Because I remember at the park they changed the menus, right? Because they had all the in-universe things, and then people were like, I don't know what a Ronto wrap is. What am I ordering?
What's a tip yip? It's fried chicken
on your planet.
But I mean, it's still a lot.
I will say I think you lucked out, because in most like movies and stuff, being stuck in that room full of animatronics during some sort of malfunction, eventually all those stormtroopers would have raised their blasters and started shooting you.
I was on the lookout. No, everybody else was just like, I'm going to take a selfie. I'm like, you never know.
Maybe they weren't.
You just never
animatronics.
know.
They're just actors, and that's their job, is to just stand still and repeat these few motions.
Yeah. I was like, this is a Michael Crichton movie waiting to happen. Just be on your guard. Everyone else was like, oh, I'm not going to get a picture with the stormtroopers.
Oh, man, like Jurassic Park / Westworld type thing, but like for Disney World would be great, because you're fighting, like Ray is trying to come kill you, and then like Goofy comes out of nowhere and like tackles her.
Well, I mean, isn't that kind of that basically that new Nicolas Cage movie?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Which one is that?
The one that's like a Five Nights at Freddy's knockoff, it looks like, and like he's battling like killer animatronic animals in a rundown theme park.
It sounds amazing. I would like to see that.
Yeah, amazing.
A double feature of that and the what was the crazy psychedelic blood
Color Out of Space or Mandy.
Mandy. It's like, why can't I remember the name of this movie? Oh yeah, it's her wife. Anyways, it was a lot of fun. Did not get to Oga's. Got on Rise once. Got on Smuggler's Run. And I got to be the engineer. And I was Johnny on the spot with hitting all the flashy lights. And we came back with, I think it was 82% success on Smuggler's Run. So Hondo was happy with us. And we came home with a good amount of credits. We didn't lose too much. And Hondo is still fun. You don't get to like everyone stand in the room where his animatronic talks to you. Like if you're in line and you're stuck in there for a minute or two, you get to hear most of it. But it's still a really great experience. And Disney is still doing a really, really, really good job of COVID safety and precautions, like much better than your local grocery store. So anyone that's like, you're crazy, you're awful for going to Disney, it's just like, no, they're doing a much better job. Like they kick people out for not wearing their mask or getting their temperature taken.
Yeah, I saw a news story here like a week or two ago about some guy who got his ass kicked out of Disney Springs.
Yes, he did.
Not wearing a mask, and he was all like, "You can't do this to me. I spent $15,000." And they were like, "Well, who cares? We're still kicking you out."
That's right, they did. That's right, and that was even. Yeah, that was Springs. That wasn't even like one of the parks. That was the shopping area. And they arrested his ass because he wasn't leaving. So it's like, sorry about you, bro. So, good times. And hopefully at some point in the future, when the Tron ride is open and the Guardians of the Galaxy ride is open, we can all go and experience light cycles and going through multiple warp gates and Galaxy's Edge.
Well, I know Mandy and I are planning on going sometime next year.
Well, good.
If we can coordinate, that would be cool. But, if not, well, we're still going.
And Joe, if you want to get your ass to Disneyland, they are opening. They are opening back up now that California has lifted its ban. And they're...
On Disney.
What?
Their ban on Disney.
Yes, California's ban on Disney. Of course, everything is shut in Georgia now, so...
That's probably why all the conservatives were moving out of California here over the last year.
That's why.
Because of the ban on Disney, they were all disappointed.
It's a 6-hour drive, but... I don't want to.
That's still only like a couple more hours than the drive to.
But then
the cities
to go down to like
you'd
Valley
have to
Fair,
drive in Los Angeles, which does not sound appealing.
Can you bypass LA and just go straight to Anaheim?
I don't know. I haven't looked into it too much.
Damn, I'll look for you. You need to go to Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah, it's a lot of things I need to do. I haven't gone to the Grand Canyon yet.
And it'll still be there.
Eh.
And Avengers Campus is going to open soon, too.
Well, then I might as well wait until that one's open before I do anything.
Well, okay, it's a couple months away. All right, I'll get off my newfound Disney fanboy soapbox. And
do you trade pins yet?
Do I trade pins?
Yeah. Isn't that like...
I don't trade them. I just buy them.
Isn't that the next step in your, like, Disney Park fellow thing?
So, see that?
Evan is pointing to a bulletin board behind him full of pins.
Them's all pins, baby. Yeah.
I
have pins.
I own Disney pins from all the times
There's my pins. So,
ooh, what you got there?
Stuff. They're mostly...
Oh, you got a Celebration pin.
2 Celebration pins. Most of those pins are from Celebration.
Nice.
And then, like, Etsy and some book exclusives. High Republic pin, but...
That's right.
You gotta trade them.
That.
There's all sorts of weirdos who are like, oh, well, there's this one pin that's only available if you ask a staff member on, like, the hour of 3 p.m. When there's a...
On Durin's Day, when the thrush knocks twice.
You gotta say the secret code, and then they'll give you this pin, and then, it's quite the hobby, the Disney pin trading.
It is. Almost all of mine are Star Wars. What I love is that I've got the Open Circle Fleet pin, but it was part of a package, and if you ask someone, like, hey, I know what, like, the Imperial and the Rebel and all that is, like, what's this one? Like, I don't know. It's like, oh, you don't? Let me tell you about the Open Circle Fleet, son. But I don't know if that's even canonical anymore. I don't think it is.
Know what
it?
that is?
That's
I don't know. Tell us about the Open Circle.
Tell us,
Fleet,
Evan.
That's Obi-Wan's. That's his. Like it was in the old days.
It's just one of the Republic Navy symbols. Okay.
Yeah, it's like the very red orange, like 2 semicircles with orange.
You see them on like the Venators and stuff in the prequels.
Yes, and like in Legends, that was Obi-Wan's fleet. I don't think it is anymore. I think it's just like, it's an emblem of the Republic, the Grand Army of the Republic. All right. Well, this isn't the Pin Trader podcast. Is it?
I mean, I don't know how long we've been recording. This could just be talk about Disney. But my question is...
You know what? I'm ready. I'm ready to do that.
My question is...
See, I wasn't joking when I said we could just... When you asked, what are we going to record about tonight? I said, we'll just let Evan talk about his vacation.
It's fine.
I'm assuming the staff members have to be very polite and accommodating. That's my assumption.
Yeah.
So could
And they are.
I'm sure there are people out there who don't have people they can just sit and talk about Star Wars to. Could you go up to them and be like, have you ever heard about Thrawn? And then you just talk about Thrawn for an hour. And how long can you go? Like, how long can they feign interest and, like, be like, oh, okay, before they, like, say, I have to get on with my day? That's my question.
I will say that the cast members at Disney parks, one, that they work there because they love it. Like, I know it's been said they don't get paid enough and everything else, and they're not paid enough. But they obviously do love the Disney culture. I'm not sure how to describe it. Just it's a different world, you know. It's a culture of world. It is a whole new world, you know. It's meant to be. It's a very different feeling there than at like Universal. Universal is fun. Disney is magical because you feel included in everything, and people there that work there, they love it. And I will also say they're extremely good at their people skills because of the people, the visitors that they have to deal with. The people that go there are some of the most overprivileged people in the world.
I would imagine.
And being able to deal with those people is something that I could not do. I get pissed off reading someone say that, I don't know, pick something. Like that Last Jedi is a garbage movie.
Yeah, I can't even deal with that with people that I know when like that come up to me and start, you know, going on about stuff like that in the game store. You know?
Yeah, it's like you have to be gifted.
So
both in like just how you are as a person, and I'm sure they are trained to deal with people like that. When you've got apologies to all the Karens out there, when you've got Karens, and boy have I seen Karens there who are in their faces about whatever, doesn't matter what. But the cast members deal with it. They are saints. They hire freaking saints to work there.
So, it sounds like they would have a hard time breaking free of your ramblings about Star Wars. So what I'm proposing is if we ever all get there, we can have a special episode where cast members are unwitting guests of the podcast, where we just have a 4-way conversation that includes them. We're recording it, and they're too polite and well-trained to be like, stop. That's my my recommendation.
But they are all. I would say they're also very trained at stopping the conversation in an extremely polite way. Like, let me get you with someone who can help you out with this. And they hand you off.
Like if in like Galaxy's Edge, they literally just radio some stormtroopers to haul you away from.
We gotta see how long of an episode we can get before they weasel their way out.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe they would.
Oh,
in non-COVID times, they might. Like, I'm sorry, did you want to talk about this some more? Talk about what your feelings are about the First Order? Let's bring over some of the experts on this.
I wish I still had the video, or I wish I had taken a video of when the last time we went to Disney and some stormtroopers started giving my father-in-law about his mustache. It was pretty entertaining.
What? His mustache?
Well, it's like we were going to like do like a photo op thing with Kylo Ren. And they started giving a couple of stormtroopers patrolling around the area It's in like the little like Star Wars museum they have in Hollywood Studios.
Oh, at the docking bit. No, okay. I think I know what you're talking about.
It's like over by like where like the I think like the Little Mermaid show is and some of that stuff. Yeah. So we were there and there was like a Kylo Ren like. You could get a photo with Kylo Ren, and then and stuff, and then they had some stormtroopers, some First Order stormtroopers patrolling around, and they were like, they started giving my father-in-law guff, and like were harassing him. It was pretty hilarious.
That is very funny, and something I don't think has happened within the past year, because they've been very hands off. But kudos, because they've still been able to do stuff. Like, they've still been able to have stormtroopers out. They've still been able to have Rey and Chewie, like, walking up on the catwalk in front of the crowd in Galaxy's Edge. So, you can still have Rey, like, waving at the kids and talking to them. And... man, there is. I guess that this is something that happened before the COVID times, but having a little kid, like get to talk to Rey is, oh man, it's an amazing moment. And I saw it's always fun for me when I go to Galaxy's Edge and see. Actually, you two can tell me this. Is it pronounced V Marathi or Vi Marathi?
I believe it's officially pronounced Vi. Last time I checked.
Okay, so I am wrong then. So it is Vi Marathi.
I'm sure Leo doesn't even know who that is.
She is on the cover of the Black Spire novel.
Oh,
the blue
one
hair.
With, like the
blue hair.
She's also in the Phasma novel.
So like when I've talked to Jenny about it, because she read Phasma, and I think she did finish Black Spire. She said, yeah, those two stories go together. So if you want to get ready to go to Galaxy's Edge, you read Phasma and then you read Galaxy's Edge, Black Spire, and you'll be all set, because she's Vi's on a mission. So you'll see her, like, skulking and, like, hiding from the stormtroopers. She won't just be, like, walking down the street, waving, "Hi, kids, how's it going?" So you kind of got to have your eyes open to catch Vi when you're in there. And, of course, when Joe and I have been playing Sims 4 Journey to Batuu, she is your primary contact after you talk to all the randos.
Since I think the last footage there's some sort of weird corruption with it, I would like everyone to know, who has been waiting for the continuation of Thronk Menudo's tale, that he did in fact make Whoopi with a woman.
A woman!
After having peed himself multiple times, he got cleaned up, and he made it with a woman.
What movie is that where some character comes out of a room and he just yells out really loud? He's all like, "I just had sex," and like to a crowd, and the crowd starts cheering, and he's all like, "With a woman," like as an afterthought, and then the crowd like cheers even.
I was thinking of Futurama as Zap Brannigan's like, "Inform the crew that I have made it with a woman."
Oh, Zap Brannigan.
So anyways, things were going well for him.
Where the hell was I?
You're talking about Vi?
Oh, yeah. I don't know how we went from Vi Marathi to sex with a woman. But, yeah, so that's for... Oh, yeah, because of Journey to Batuu. Because our goals for that game, as stated in the video, were get a lightsaber, get laid.
Get a lightsaber. Get laid. There was some other things.
There was something else, but those were the two main things.
I don't think get a droid was on the list. But
no, it wasn't.
Yeah, get a lightsaber and get laid. Thronk, 1 out of 2.
We didn't get a lightsaber yet.
No.
We did beat Hondo at Sabacc.
Yeah, that was frustrating.
And let me tell you, Leo, playing Sabacc in The Sims, it ain't great. You don't actually play the game so much as...
You just sit there and watch the two
somewhere in between. You occasionally click if your guy should be confident or cheat or accuse someone else of cheating or something. It's pretty bad.
Sounds pretty lame.
When Pazak in KOTOR 2 is better, something's wrong. What else? I have yet to try, I guess this is the Galaxy's Edge episode. I have yet to try green or blue milk.
That's on my list of things to do.
Well, also on your list is...
It's hard to find a teat that will accommodate those.
You have to go to the beach.
Yeah.
So you have to drive to the ocean, find yourself a siren.
The Everglades.
And
going to the beach is
you can go to there's manatees in different places.
That's
manatees
true.
probably have green milk, right? They're close to the
they eat kelp
Thalasirens.
all the time, right? A steady diet of kelp almost assuredly results in green milk.
Hold on.
Oh, patrons exclusively get to see Leo's face during this segment.
What color is manatee milk?
Oh, no.
Gray. According to SeaWorld.org, the true color of a manatee is gray, although it may appear brownish.
I don't want to know about the color of a manatee. I want to know about the milk, Google.
No, the manatee's milk.
This is like if Google was a guy. I just watched those last night.
Get out your Windows Phone and ask Cortana instead of...
Yeah.
There's a website called Manacheese, which is Welcome to Manacheese, a product so unique you won't believe it exists.
I don't believe it exists.
Cheesy sea cow dog treats. Manacheese story starts with founder Professor Wentworth
What?
Brown. It looks like a parody website.
Brown.
It looks like a parody website. The products shown, such as the Manacheese, the whipped Manacheese, and the sea cow dog treats, they're all blue. So maybe the Manatee's where you get your blue milk. It's got a rich, creamy texture with undertones of seaweed.
Sounds right.
It looks like
Sounds
a fake
legit.
website. Shop. Let's see. Let's go to shop. Let's get some original Manacheese. There's no add to cart or anything.
Aww.
I think we're being sold a fake bill of cheese.
It honestly sounds like something from World of Warcraft, like a spell to make cheese with magic, or a Magic the Gathering, cheeser strategy.
There's a beer by Slacktide Brewing Company called Manatee Milk. So maybe manatees just lactate beer.
Hey, you know what? If you can have dragon milk from Michigan, you can have manatee milk from Florida.
It's a
I do not like that dragon.
You don't like
milk
that? You don't like the
beer
dragon's
that
milk?
much.
It's milk stout flavored with coffee. That's what comes out of a manatee.
There you go.
I would drink
that's
that.
Straight
dragon's
from the
milk?
teat like
that.
Luke did.
That's right.
Well, no, he squirted it from the
I
teat
guess
into
there was a
In
middleman.
fairness.
There was a
In
middleman.
fairness.
You know what? I've drank milk fresh out of a cow.
Who hasn't?
It's
Yeah.
fine. It's the same.
Louis
thing
Pasteur
that
would
Luke
be
did.
ashamed of you.
It has a totally different flavor, and it's still warm when you just drink it right out of the bucket.
Were you a farm cat when you were a kid? I'm picturing you like sitting on your hind legs, and somebody's squirting it across the room.
Yep. Leo sitting on his hind legs.
Get a little bit in your mustache.
As a kid.
Yeah.
The beard is an adult. The mustache he always had. He was born with that. So yet to have that. Let's see here. The thing that Leo, I assume this is not secret knowledge, but you did inform your wife, hey, when we go to Galaxy's Edge, I am buying a lightsaber. It wasn't like building. Yes, I'm sorry. Building a lightsaber. It wasn't like, hey, honey, it's okay. You're like, no, woman.
That's one of the other reasons why we haven't. We're like, oh, we could go, but we're like, well, we can't go and not both build a lightsaber.
Oh, wow.
And we can't go and not also go to the Hogwarts place since we're there, because there's one in Orlando and one in Los Angeles or Anaheim or whatever. So if we're already going to be there, we can't not go to both places. But if we go to the Harry Potter place, we can't both not get the fancy wands.
Well,
starts to add up.
That depends. If you go during, are you going?
I don't have any plans right now.
If you go during the spring or summer, don't bother going to Wizarding World, okay? Because you won't get to experience the most important part, and that is hot butterbeer.
He's right.
So they have 3 different varieties of butterbeer.
This is now a Harry Potter podcast, FYI.
Yes. There's cold, there's frozen, and there's hot. Cold and frozen are served year-round, but you only drink those if you like drinking. Okay, they're not really that bad.
They're okay.
But compared to the hot butterbeer, they just as well could be.
It's true.
The hot butterbeer is the most perfect drink ever concocted. It's essentially like if Eggs Erroneous from Ernest Goes to Camp was a liquid drink. Are you snorting, Evan?
Yes, I am.
Okay, well,
but anyways, there's literally no reason to go to the Wizarding World if you can't drink, 6 to 12 cups of hot butterbeer while you're there that day.
Okay.
So
that's another constriction on our plans, because then we'd have to go in the fall, winter.
Yes.
I guess I don't know about
enough.
California, but in Florida at least they stopped serving the hot butterbeer towards a little bit after mid-February.
Have enough saved for 2 lightsabers, 2 wands, maybe a droid. See, I'm torn on the build a droid because I love the astromech droids, but also I want to say they seem cheap, but they're not, because they're remote controlled and they have little personalities and stuff. But also, it's just it's a little plastic thing.
They just look like if you looked at them real hard, they would break.
I feel like that's the same thing with the lightsabers, though.
The lightsabers do look a bit kind of fakier than a lot of the ones you could buy, online or from Doc Ondar's. I think the big sell to lightsabers is the little experience you get with it. And then it's cool that, this one is personalized to me rather than I just bought it somewhere. Because they definitely don't look quite as, realistic or durable or metallic as, a lot of other ones you can buy.
Yeah. I'm kind of lucky. Mandy, she doesn't want to make a lightsaber. She does want to kind of go and watch, and as I understand, that's a thing you can do where I could go in and build the lightsaber, and she could come with as just a viewer and get to see the experience and stuff, but not have to pay to build her own saber.
I will say, having gone to Ollivander's at Universal Florida, being in there even if you're not the person chosen from
Did
the
you
group.
know Mandy has been chosen as the person every single time we've went
Yeah. Like,
to Ollivanders?
because that is such a thing in that universe. So, like, we know what that looks like. Of like, okay, give it to Swish, like doing that and seeing things explode. And like, try this one, and then like you do that and something else explodes. Like, no, try this one. Like that. I don't know. That is one cheaper and has a bit more. I don't know.
In
Yeah, I
universe
mean,
ness, because
honestly,
Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, that getting to experience the first time we went to Wizarding World, that was enough to satisfy us. We didn't buy wands. We did buy wands the last time we went, mostly because
you gotta.
Oops, I forgot to click the.
We got a patron.
don't show
Oh,
other
also he's
people
got a guest
thing.
role, so he can talk.
Oh, well. Hey, yeah. Hey, you know what? Sometimes patrons are lucky and we forget to turn off their mic permission. So, you know what? If Mr. White Fox wants to give his thoughts on building your own lightsaber at Galaxy's Edge versus Ollivander finding the right wand for you, or rather, the right wand picking you.
Yeah, like I said, we did end up buying wands last time we went, but mostly because we brought our kids with, and we bought our oldest one of the interactive wands.
It's so
that
fun.
Actually, it is
so
really
fun.
cool. Some of
Oh, goodbye.
What's gonna-
but
Oh, he's back.
see, you
Oh,
said-
he's back.
So we bought one of those for our kid, and since we were buying him one, we were like, let's buy ourselves wands too. But it's actually funny because Mandy ended up picking out Sirius's wand for herself, and I got Ginny's wand for myself.
Oh, that's rad. Hey, Jenny is a bad.
Sirius has the coolest one because it's got all those like little runes on it.
It is a very cool
Yeah.
wand, yes.
It's not ribbed.
No.
Like is it the
Luna?
the Elder Wand?
Oh.
The
Elder
Elder
one's
Wand
the-
is definitely ribbed for
like a
pleasure.
string
Yeah,
of
the Elder one
beads.
is anal beads.
You know what kind of beads.
Greetings, patron.
So, Evan, tell me about the droids there, because obviously if I went there, I'd be stopping to, like, look at all the droids and hug
Yeah.
them.
It honestly, every time I see anything even slightly Chopper related, I'm like, Joe, Chopper stuff.
That's what that
when I
noise
was there-
I used to, like, sometimes I would hear it, like, in the wind.
As the cherry blossoms are floating by, you hear Joe. So yeah, either last time or 2 times ago, back before the world ended, they had to set up a special place so that people could play with their droids, you know, basically on the street, because people were literally playing with them on the street. And I have been inside the droid factory, and it's very cool, because you can either participate in the droid building or just pick parts and take them to go, basically. Instead of eating in, you can take your droid to go. And it's very cool. It's cheaper than a lightsaber, and you can do more with it. You can interact with it. Instead of just like, I got a lightsaber.
You
Woo-woo.
could swing lightsabers at people.
It's true. Or you can annoy your
There
cats
was...
with your droid.
I want to see what's going to happen with
Oh,
those
yeah, the patent,
those
the new patent.
actual the new lightsabers that
You might have missed this, Evan.
mentioned that they've. Yeah, it was during.
There was some sort of Disney
During some
parks
kind of like
presentation, and at the very end, according to people on the scene, this guy in charge pulls out a lightsaber hilt and ignites it, and it turns on real nice. And then it's like, it's real, trust me. And then it ends, and everyone's like, what? And then some people who, I appreciate. Some might say are...
But I mean, the important thing is, like, when he says he ignites it, like, a blade, like, goes, like, a lighted blade goes, like, up out of the handle.
Right. There's a patent. So some people found there's a patent for this sci-fi sword toy patented by Disney or whatever. And it's very just kind of ingenious... like the ones that you may or may not have had as a kid that are telescoping. You just kind of whip them and they come out. It's kind of that,
Those
but
are
like
classic,
super high tech version.
I would say from what I read of the patent, it honestly almost makes it sound like a couple tape measures,
but like cylindrical.
Kind of. So like how when you like a tape measure obviously like rolls up like inside the handle or inside the thing you hold on to.
Yes.
And then when you come out, because it's kind of like curved like this, it's rigid and stays straight, right? So like if you put a few of those together, a couple of them together, you could actually make like a whole cylinder, right?
Yes.
So essentially there's some junk that gets spring-loaded out of the handle with some like rollers, and obviously a light is inside, and then it will retract as well, and allegedly it probably looks really good. You probably also can't hit it into anything, I would imagine.
Yeah, that's exactly what our patrons were saying. They were saying, yeah, it sounds like you wouldn't really be able to hit it. And I imagine it's not going to be super sturdy. It's going to look really cool.
The second you get two 10-year-olds with
that's the
each with
that's
one
the
of
question.
those.
Like, are they reserving this just for like
kid?
to give to like Rey and Kylo and like characters in the park, or is this going to be something they sell to people? It's unclear.
I'm sure it's going to be a thing you can buy if you spend enough.
Yeah.
I don't know, but yeah, I guess at the end, like if you want a sword fight, you're still gonna go buy like an Ultra Saber combat ready blade or whatever. And
yeah, I remember when I first moved here, I saw there was a lightsaber group in Tucson called like the Twin Sons or something like that, and I went there and it was like.
Yes.
It was like halfway between like I kind of want to go back and I kind of don't. There was just like three guys, and they had more, but there was only three that day, and they had like a trunk full of like pads and like things, and they're like the guy walked me through like the basic kendo stances and stuff because it's like how they did it, and it's like, well, it's kind of neat. And in the park at dusk, swinging these things around, but also it's kind of weird. I was like, this would be good exercise. I never ended up going back.
I mean, it's got to be better than the guys that I used to get LARPers at the park.
I mean, they seemed pretty not like.
And I honestly don't have anything against LARPers. Like if I had the opportunity and a place to go where general public wouldn't see me doing it, I would be all about it. Like just running around doing that would be hilarious. But I used to, but at the park by the house I used to live in, yeah, there's just like once a month you'd go out there and there'd just be a group of like 5 or 6 guys like just wailing on each other with foam swords. But it was like there was like no coordination or strategy. It was just like they were just like going to town. It was the funniest.
Yeah, I think with
the it wasn't like I at one point I for a while I was actually a member of the SCA, which is the Society for Creative Anachronism, the medieval society. I was a member of my college's chapter of the SCA, and like they took like the sword fighting they did seriously. Like they sort of tried to recreate the techniques people would have used in real life or whatever, and blah blah blah. Not these guys. No, they were just wailing on each other with these foam swords. It was just great to watch. I could see the park from my front porch, so sometimes I just put a camping chair out in my front yard and have a beer and watch them.
Yeah, that was the difference, I guess, with the... Because in college, just me and John used to go out on campus in the middle of the night and fight with our lightsabers, and we weren't coordinated. But if people saw us, they would stop and be like, "That's cool." Everybody was like, "Wow, that's neat."
I remember waiting in line for Revenge of the Sith, which I did. Which I waited in line for 3 days for that movie. No,
What?
Like
yeah,
in a
3
tent?
days. Yeah, well, we actually took turns sleeping in the car. We didn't have a tent,
Okay.
so
Wow.
So you had shelter. You had actual shelter.
But like you had one person like rotating as holding the spot in line, or what?
yeah, and like we'd be like, all right, I'll stand in line. You can head back to the apartment and go shower now and stuff like that. And so
They shared a bed. It was fine. They rotated.
But there was a group of guys there who had brought, like, they had some sabers that they had made or whatever. And it might have, and I don't even remember. They may have just even had like the like plastic telescoping ones. I don't even remember. But because there was all kinds of us waiting in line for the movie, the reporters would come every now and then, like for the local news, and like film for a while, and they'd be like, local nerds waiting in line at the movie. What the hell's up with this? But every time, like even when they just saw like a news van drive down the road past the theater, they'd be like, "Oh God, the news people are being here. We got to get on TV." And these like 5 guys would whip out their sabers and run out into the middle of the parking lot and just start like a 5-man saber brawl. And they clearly had no idea what they were doing. There was a lot of like Obi-Wan style, like episode 4 style spinning going on in their fights. It was extremely embarrassing. And actually, one of the guys, I actually find this funny now, because now that I think about it, one of the guys who kept doing that is actually the same guy that me and my wife call Sword Guy.
What?
Because we call him Sword Guy because whenever we go to a local convention, he's hanging out at the table that sells like the table that's full of like the really like cheesy like swords and knives with skulls
and
like,
dragons where the handle is a dragon.
Mall ninjas.
and like 27
knives.
pointy things on them, and they just look dumb. But he is like he will, and we noticed this because we did several conventions. We got an artist table at several of the conventions, and for a couple of years we were near the sword table, and this guy spent all weekend hanging out near that table, like bugging the people who owned it or who ran the table, and like going on about the quality of the blade, and he's just talking out his ass, but it was just like, I don't know, and I didn't realize it till I started telling the story. I was like, holy, he was one of the dudes waving his saber around when we were waiting in line for Revenge of the Sith.
I would love to name this episode
hey, shout out to Sword Guy.
But it would mean nothing to anybody until they got this far into it. Like, oh, Sword Guy.
Well, do you want to get the context? You gotta go for it.
Yeah, if you want the stuffed crust, you got to eat the rest of the pizza.
But that's like the worst part.
Yes, it is. I couldn't think of anything else.
The stuffed crust tastes like ass.
Yes, it does. I feel like Joe is like, but I love stuffed crust.
I don't remember the last time I had stuffed crust.
Me neither, quite honestly.
I bet that guy loved that store in Duluth. In Duluth, Minnesota.
Which store in Duluth? What was?
Okay, so it doesn't exist anymore.
Oh, thank
it got
goodness.
shut down, but it was called like Ends of the Earth or like Edge of the Earth or something like that. I can't remember exactly what it was called. I think it was Ends of the Earth. But I just remember this one time. This is when my parents used to live in Duluth for a while. And we were going to visit them, and this commercial comes on the radio for this store. And it was like the most crazy commercial I've ever heard in my life, because they're like, yeah, come to Ends of the Earth, your #1 store for synthetic weed, adult movies, and ninja stars.
Wow.
I was like, Mandy, can we go find that store on our way home? This sounds like the greatest store ever invented.
Wow. Honestly, I want to see it now. Apparently,
but I seem to remember like trying to look it up last time we went to Duluth, and it had closed down.
I was gonna say this picture I just posted looked like what you were describing, because the description says the other wall was all bongs, and it's just a wall full of just ridiculous looking swords.
Wow, swords, bongs, and everything else you need. Wow, we diverted, didn't we? Lightsabers.
This is a really good Star Wars podcast.
Yeah, boy. I don't know if that's going to be a patron exclusive or not, but
I think all of this is
lightsabers.
Gold.
It might very.
No,
you
it's
know
all
what?
gold.
It might very well be.
Lol.
I'm very eager for the YouTube release of this one. It will be very good. Let's see. So, the Droid Shop at Galaxy's Edge, very, very good. You can get a lot of droid stuff that isn't just, buying a droid.
Yeah, I've looked through all of the products, I think, and, during 2020, a lot of them went up for sale online, and there's not enough or any specifically chopper things. I was like, oh. Or R5D4. Those are the two that would just be like, bam. And that's the problem I would have building my own droid. I'm like, do I just build R5D4 or do I build something unique?
There are a few things, because whenever I see them, I'm like, Joe! It's Chopper! Because if there's one thing that actually, this is like bracket this conversation, like this segment of it, just because it's something I notice that's weird, is that they never promote the series that are big at the time. So like when... I mean, I know we're not huge fans of Resistance, but it's the kind of show that they should have been pushing to kids, right? Mm-hmm. Like, here, kids, have your parents buy you this stuff. Or like when the last season of Clone Wars came out, or Bad Batch is coming out. They should be like, hey, kids, get your parents to buy this stuff for you. And they don't. They don't do that. They just have whatever movie, or, they dedicate an entire store to Grogu. Like, we were making jokes about, oh my gosh, look at that, a Baby Yoda shirt. Who's ever seen one of those? Like, that was the running joke, because every fifth person had a damn Baby Yoda Grogu shirt. And eventually, if we saw a Yoda one, it's like, no. It's like the Drake meme. It's like
an old
Baby
Grogu
Yoda,
shirt.
Old Grogu.
Has the Red Millennium Falcon shirt finally started to die off?
Oh my gosh. Okay. So this was another one. Like, I want to make so many memes about Disney World. The Red Pizza Planet t-shirt is the Red Millennium Falcon t-shirt of Disney World. But the Red Millennium Falcon t-shirt still exists, but it's far below the Red Pizza Planet t-shirt. That one is just... Woo.
I saw a guy wearing that around my apartment the other day, and then the song got stuck in my head, because there was an episode of Star Wars Show a couple years ago where they had a whole musical number about how unique... I think it was like the unique, never duplicated, totally original Red Millennium Falcon shirt. They did a whole musical number making fun of how everybody wears that shirt.
Oh my gosh. If I ever see like the blue X-Wing t-shirt that is the same, the same theme as the Red Millennium Falcon, I want to like shake that person's hand. It's like, thank you for making the smart choice and going with the blue X-Wing instead of the Red Millennium Falcon. But it is not nearly as prolific around Disney World as it is like Gen Con or C2E2 or literally anywhere else. But the damn Pizza Planet red t-shirt sure as shit is. What else? If I didn't already say it, the best food is at Docking Bay 7.
So this is a little digression, but I would like... So, you know how like at the end of episodes of Mystery Science Theater, after the credits are all done, they just show like a little clip from the movie of generally someone in the movie just saying something ridiculous from the movie. I would like us to do that at the end of an episode. Our episodes like after the fade out and the music plays and stuff. Then, the music plays for a little bit and then we have a little soundbite. But it's just always going to be Evan going, yo!
I can make that happen. I try to do that. Like if there's something that doesn't quite fit organically, but I love it too much, I stick it at the end. And very often it is something like that. It's something Joe related more often than not. Not that you're not funny too, Leo.
I'm not here to amuse you.
Okay, Joe Pesci. Docking Bay 7, like everyone talks about Ronto wraps. I have yet to have one, in all honesty.
I actually really want to try them because I want to taste the difference between the ones in the park versus the ones I make at home. Same with like the Mandalorian stew. Like we make the Mandalorian stew out of the Galaxy's Edge cookbook a lot because we really, really like it. It's really good if you haven't had it before.
I've not.
I highly recommend it. It's a regular meal in our house. And I mean, you like Indian type foods.
Oh yeah. And
so I think you would like this because basically all the seasoning comes from like garam masala and stuff.
Oh, okay.
And it's really good. But I'd be curious to taste because I've heard that some of the dishes in the cookbook are very different from their park counterparts.
Yeah.
So I'd be curious. I really enjoy both of those dishes. So I would be curious to see how they compare to their park counterparts.
I don't know if I think one of the things I would do would be hanging around. I don't know. There's some kind of alleyway near the vendors. I think some kind of like supposed to be like where the local residents live or something. And I think if you listen, you can hear random chatter and like people talking and stuff. And I think a lot of that is Pablo Hidalgo talking dumb stuff. And I would just be a nerd and sit there and try and listen to what they're all saying. But I bet you can't really hear it unless it's like there's no other people around.
They do manage to pipe in ambient sounds pretty well. Like if you're standing in line, you'll hear animal sounds or engine sounds or Kowakian monkey lizards if you're standing in line to go into the shops, because you have to wait in line to go into the shops now because of COVID restrictions, because Disney actually gives a shit about your health, believe it or not.
Do they give a shit about...
They want you alive so they can get your money. But you know what? They want you to stay alive. So that's something that's more than I can say about my local Kroger.
It's more than you can say about the North Dakota governor.
Or any governor.
Oh. But yeah, the food, like, oh my gosh. It sounds dumb when I say it out loud, but the best food in Hollywood Studios is at Galaxy's Edge, and the best food at Animal Kingdom is at Pandora. Like,
See,
No
we never
question.
we never really went to, when we went there, we never really went to many of the sit down type
I
places.
feel like
I guess, or we had more of like the fast type food.
Sure. The quick service.
I think the only like restaurant we went to the last time we went to that the pizza place in Epcot.
Oh, Via Napoli?
I don't remember the name. It was pretty good pizza.
I don't think that would be something I'd even be remotely. If I don't need to sit down unless my legs are tired. I paid to be there. I got things to do besides eat. I can eat food anywhere.
Well, this was like
Sure.
this was like in the evening for supper, like after we had been parking all day.
And if you're at Epcot past like 6 o'clock, it's like kids are gone. The kids have been taken back to the hotel room to sleep. It's time for adults to spend too much on booze and food. But it's good food at Epcot.
Yeah, when we went there last time, it was the art and food festival or whatever.
What month did you go?
We went in February.
So that would have been Flower and Garden, I think. Still a Flower and Garden.
No, it was at the tail end of the art something, because they had like all the artists there, like who's like Karen Hallian had some stuff that was on for sale.
That's right.
There.
Yeah. We got to welcome another patron to chat really quick. Meat Castle, thank you for joining us. We stumbled into talking about my latest vacation at.
This is still
Disney
just what you've been playing. We'll get to the.
Yeah, I've been playing some Smugglers Run and Rise of the Resistance. That's what all this has been.
Oh.
But what I was trying to say is we went to this one place and they had really good poutine at one of the booths, because they had all kinds of food booths, like bonus food booths set along the path, and there was some really good poutine.
I got some dirt about the Toydarian Toy Maker's shop. I was going to put this out on a video, but I didn't want to ruin it for everybody, so I'll ruin it for only those who are listening right now.
Oh no.
Yep. Skip ahead like 2 or 3 minutes if you don't want the Toydarian toy shop.
Specific
This is
product.
be a patron exclusive.
Specific product. The Sabacc deck, because I spent a lot of time with it recently because I put together a how to play video, which somebody commented and they're like, we were there today and just bought this, and this is literally the best video explaining this that we found, and I was so it was worth it, the time I put into that.
Yeah.
And I was like, because I have the one from Galaxy's Edge, and I have the Hasbro one, which is called Han Solo card game.
The Han Solo card game.
Which I think there was like a copyright problem when that movie was coming out. Because somebody was like patent trolling the name Sabacc or something. But the Hasbro one, if you want to play a game, pick that one. Okay? They're the same game, but I'm just saying component-wise, the cards are more like real playing cards. They're easier to shuffle. The Galaxy's Edge one is more of a nice prop. But the big thing is, and the dice in the Hasbro one are 10 times better than the dice from Galaxy's Edge, because the Hasbro ones are like embeveled. You can run your finger over it, and there's like, geography to it. The Galaxy's Edge ones are smooth, printed on, not carved out. The Galaxy's Edge cards, in the deck of Sabacc, there's a bunch of green cards and a bunch of red cards. The Galaxy's Edge one, they have different card backs. The color brown of the card back is slightly different on the green cards and on the red cards. And I did it myself, and I was looking at them like, okay, without looking at the front of the cards, can I separate red from green? And I had about like I'd say 95% accuracy when I would like draw 20 cards and then sort them into 2 stacks. So if you know to look for that, you're going to ruin the game for yourself, because it's not like you need to cheat at Sabacc, because you're not going to be playing Sabacc seriously. But now you're going to know, and you're going to not be able to not look at the top of the deck and go, oh, that's a green card. I don't want to draw that because I don't need a green card. And It's been burning me up, and now you guys, I've ruined it for all of you.
Remember when Sabak
scared away a patron?
Used to have 4 suits, not just red.
No, there are 4 suits.
True.
There's 4 staves, and it even says so in the Galaxy's Edge rulebook. There's
so they've got what, staves? Cups,
no, staves are the word for suits apparently, but that, at least according to the rulebook, in Solo
in the EU, the staves were one of the suits. Yeah, and there was like the staves, cups, swords, and I can't remember what the 4th
which makes sense because in the Solo movie he lays his cards down and he goes straight staves, like you would say straight hearts or whatever. There are different suits on the cards you get from Galaxy's Edge. They have circles, squares, triangles, and maybe there's only 3. But they have no effect on the gameplay. Even though the rulebook points out that there are these different suits, it has no effect on the gameplay. So anyways, next time you're playing, try not to look at the card backs too closely. I mean, you kind of have to be looking for it, but one's clearly a little bit lighter than the other. So that's something that disappointed me.
All this talk about Sabak makes me want to reread the old-ass Lando novels.
It makes me want to... I want another... There was a... Here's a white whale item for my collection. There was...
Okay. Listen up, patrons.
There was a celebration. I don't know which one it was. Might have been 2015. Where... It's probably 2014 or 2015. They had Sabak decks that were based on the ones you see in Rebels. Square cards, kind of bright colors on them. Ones you see Lando and Zeb playing. They had officially made Sabak decks from that, and I want that. I only just remembered that it existed.
Who knows? Maybe if you keep, talking about it nonstop in every episode, some listener will send some to you, kind of like how I just wouldn't shut up about the Star Wars card game, and eventually some listener was all like, "Hey, you want these? God, shut up about Star Wars cards.
No, stop talking about it. God.
Stop talking about the CCG." I get it.
Well, and I'm just gonna try to soothe Joe a little bit with this. There are multiple versions of chess in Star Wars.
Well,
right?
There's so much variance of this. I mean, technically, the Sabak they sell at Galaxy's Edge and the Han Solo card game. That's like Carillion Spike, and then the stuff we see Lando play. So there's millions of variations because
exactly.
Yeah, I mean, even in the EU there was, but they were all still it was sort of like
Texas
different
Hold'em
card games.
7-card
stud.
like
there's all kinds of different variants of poker, but they're still played with the same basic cards and stuff like that.
Yeah, but this is Star Wars where there's trillions of galaxies.
One of everything.
I mean, so there's not only different games with the same deck, but there's different decks that are still kind of Sabak. Star Wars Celebration 7 Anaheim. Mos Eisley Cantina. Sabak deck. Oh man, it's some weird website called WorthPoint where I have to sign in to see what it's worth.
Oh yeah, that website's
extremely
garbage.
rare, only given out at Star Wars Celebration Anaheim in 2015.
WorthPoint sounds like that sounds like they're gonna steal your.
They are totally gonna steal.
Okay, I found one on eBay.
There you go.
$270.
That's less than an aftermarket Warhammer kit that originally cost $50 in 2010.
It even comes with a special trading card that has Chopper on it, the Cantina. That was when they had the Cantina set up at Celebration.
Well, there you go. That has your name all over it.
My name usually doesn't go with $270 deck of cards that'll...
Man, didn't you get some COVID relief money? This seems like the perfect thing to spend it on.
There's still hard to spend $270 on a deck of playing cards.
Okay.
If it was a deck of Star Wars CCG,
That's, you know what that is? That's lightsaber money. That's what that is. Or 2 droids. That's 2 droid money.
See, for these sort of things,
And
I gotta
lightsaber.
depend on somebody else to waste their money and gift it to me.
There you go.
There's only one on eBay.
Ugh. But yes, if people are like, okay, we're totally going to Disney to go to Galaxy's Edge, the food there is very good. It is the best food in Hollywood studios. Unquestionably the best food there. It's bordering on the best food in Disney parks. The resorts have better food than the parks do, generally speaking. Magic Kingdom doesn't really have great food. And I don't think anyone's going to argue with me on that. Unless you like overly salty turkey legs. And I know Leo hates Dole Whips. So
I don't mind, the one that the variety of because isn't the one thing you can get at by the Peter Pan ride, but it's like lime,
yes,
instead of pineapple. I mean, it's basically a Dole Whip, but with lime flavor.
Yeah, it's lime.
That's really good.
And they haven't.
But the actual Dole Whips pineapple.
Yeah. You can also get an orange one at the Sunshine Tree Terrace.
I extra hate them for being called Dole Whips because Dole family.
Oh,
you don't like
okay.
Murder and exploitative capitalism in Central America?
Yeah, that one.
Well, I mean, I like it as much as the next American, but.
I mean, I make my own Dole Whips at home, and I use supermarket brand pineapple frozen chunks. I don't get the half-pound Dole pineapple chunks. But yes, I do make my own Dole Whip at home because I'm that guy now.
Yeah, we made the lime, the Peter Pan variety for Liam's birthday. The birthday he had after we got back from that last Disney trip, because he liked those so much that he requested that as his birthday treat.
It's a really good ice cream substitute.
I don't know. We're coming up on an hour and a half now.
It's true. I was thinking about things to wrap it up. There's no good wrap up to this except to say that I had fun, and I hope other people
like I said,
have a chance to go.
That's what you've been playing. So, on the main topic.
All right. So now, which is narrative wargaming.
That's right. That you know what?
Leo, Evan, got 60 seconds for the main topic of the show. Go.
Wait, seconds? I thought I had 60 minutes.
60 seconds. We've run out of time.
Nope, you used your 60 minutes to talk about Disney. Now we have to do only.
Let's see here. Galaxy's Edge is great. And everyone should go. Done.
I'm looking forward to it next year.
Yeah.
Next year. Either, I don't know, like I said, either spring or fall. Or I guess I shouldn't say spring. Late winter or fall 2021.
Yep.
2022.
Especially if Food and Wine Fest is going on at Epcot. Flower and Garden Fest is good. Food and Wine Fest is better.
Yeah, Mandy is always looking at Disney food blogs during Food and Wine Fest, and is all
unapologetically love Disney food blog.
But she's also always kind of sad when she looks at it, because she's like, oh my god, I want to go eat this, but I can't actually eat this thing. Well, because they're almost always covered in dairy and cheese and
There was a lot of meat-free, gluten-free, dairy-free stuff at Flower and Garden this year.
See, that's the problem though with Mandy's diet, is she can't.
That's
she can't
the problem
eat dairy,
with my wife.
And she can't eat dairy and she can't eat eggs, but she still but she eats meat. But it's really hard to find things with meat in them that don't have dairy and eggs.
Okay.
You almost always have to get like vegan stuff to not have dairy or eggs, but then you don't have meat, which is a thing that she wants.
Yeah. Well.
All right.
Well,
Next week we'll be taking a deeper dive into Mandy's diet. Stay tuned.
bring Mandy on, and we will just talk Epcot the whole time. But then I feel like Jenny's going to be like, hey, why wasn't I on for this episode?
Yeah, well, maybe that'll be like a spin-off podcast where the four of us just talk about Disney. This was like the pilot episode for our spin-off.
Yeah,
I do want to do Star Wars food blog at some point. Like, if we could have done that for April Fools, it would have been a primo April Fools episode.
Well, I will say, dear listeners, this sort of thing is a thing that typically is a kind of patron exclusive. So if you like this, you might find more of this stuff if you join the Patreon thing. Technically, this was an episode about narrative wargaming. We did talk about it a little bit.
That never actually happened.
I'm sorry!
It's okay. You talked about, the thing that sparks joy with you, and that's Disney.
I think it would be great if
That's true.
if the title of this still alluded to narrative wargaming. And then they maybe get this far, and they're like, God damn it.
That darn Jodo cast, they tricked me again.
1-star iTunes review.
Do we get iTunes reviews?
We used to. Now watch, Seth will get on there and modify his 5-star to a 1-star just to mess with us. I don't know if you can modify
Can you
or not.
rate stuff on Spotify? Doesn't look like it. I feel like iTunes is probably the only place to actually leave meaningful ratings for things.
Oh, dang. Seth was talking to us the whole time.
I've been answering
Good.
some of this stuff,
I'm
you guys.
I'm glad. Wow. Okay. All right. You know what? I think it's time to end this one.
It's time for the episode to end.
Oh, I see what you did there. Leo, has the fish jumped?
The fish jumped.
All right, it's over. Okay, we'll talk to you later, everybody. Thanks for sticking around with us and indulging me. Bye-bye.